Hi everyone, I want to talk about Linezolid. Linezolid, are you familiar with that? Not quite. Okay, no problem. You get the exact info that you need as far as Linezolid is concerned here. Okay, let's go. Okay, let me clearly state here that I'm not an agent of the drug company who have manufactured or are manufacturing Linezolid or selling Linezolid. No, I am not. I don't have affiliation with any establishment for the purpose of advertisement. No, so I am not. I am making this presentation based on the fact that a lot of patients are taking Linezolid and lots of physicians are prescribing it. And we all need to know what we all need to know about Linezolid. That's just my own reason. So I'm not an agent of any pharmaceutical company or any establishment for that matter as far as this medication is concerned. Okay, let's go. This is an antibiotic and at the same time an antidepressant. Isn't that interesting? It's an Oxazolidinones, a monoamine oxidase inhibitor derivative. It is never natural. It is completely synthetic. It's a weak reversible monoamine oxidase inhibitor, but whether weak or strong, is an antidepressant, right? It's a bacterial protein synthesis inhibitor. That is why it could serve as an antibiotic. Bioavailability per oral is 100%. That is good news, right? Because there will be complete absorption when used per oral. So, if there's no contraindication to per oral, or if there's no any contraindication to swallowing, IV rules are not necessary. In other words, IV rules would not confer any special advantage as per bioavailability in the bloodstream. The clearance is faster in children compared to elderly. I think that's a point to note when prescribing it to elderly. This drug will interact with a lot of other medications and other items. So we use low dose of any other antidepressant when Linezolid is prescribed for any reason. And also, there will be a warning. No tyramine containing foods. Why? Because it is monoamine oxidase inhibitor, whether weak or strong. Actually, it is weak, but it is. And what are those tyramine containing foods? Examples are cheese, wines, all forms of alcohol beverages, smoked foods, pickled foods. So this is a different situation. You prescribe your antibiotics, you're not likely going to sit the patient down and be given warning, don't eat cheese, don't drink wine. But in this case, with Linezolid, that must be done. Why? The breakdown of tyramine will be inhibited by monoamine oxidase and accumulation of tyramine will occur. And when there is accumulation of tyramine, then there will be high blood pressure and very severe hypertension. So from helping the patient handle the bacteria to coming down to the hospital into cardiovascular unit, where is the help then? Linezolid will not be given when the individual is on selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors at full dosage or tricyclic antidepressant at full dosage, or bupropion, or dextromethorphan, or even on St. John's wort. Also not given with meperidine, tramadol, or methadone. Why? Under these situations, they can all raise the serotonin level. And when there is serotonin level, there will be the problem serotonin syndrome. And the individual will come down with very, very high blood pressure, come down with tremor, restlessness, and can go into coma. And you know what? The patient can actually die. Possibility of death when linezolid is used with any of the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, tricyclic antidepressant, bupropion, dextromethorphan, or the patient is taking St. John wort and you don't know, or on meperidine, tramadol, or methadone, death is at the door. The medication could come in form of IV injections, tablets, liquid, and brand name Zivos, Zivozid, or generic. Again, I'm not an agent of any of these brand companies, no. The coverage, yes, why do we need this medication? For community-acquired pneumonia or Streptococcus pneumoniae, Linezolid is pretty good. But there will be clause to that, I'll get to that in a bit. For vancomycin-resistant enterococcus, or even methicillin-sensitive Staphylococcus aureus, or methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, all forms of pneumonia, and diabetic patients with food infections, linezolid would be appropriate. But this medication is not the type that will give as a first line. It is often called reserved antibiotic. Why? Because we should not use it if regular antibiotics can solve the problem. So we keep it until our other antibiotics could not solve the problem. Then we end up going into the room where linezolid is kept. So it's called a reserved antibiotic. You keep it as a last resort. We can also use it in case of osteomyelitis, infective endocarditis, as a matter of fact, in tuberculosis. In some parts of the world, they combine linezolid with other medications to handle mycobacterial tuberculosis. In neutropenic cancer patients, we can use linezolid if they develop fever. So, fever in neutropenic cancer patient with suspicion of infection, linezolid is appropriate. But remember, what are other medications he or she is being placed on? If not, I'm going to kill that patient. Strep pneumonia, when it's causing meningitis, we can use it. But remember, linezolid will not cover gram negatives. No effect on gram negatives. How about the dosage? Somebody will say, well, why is he bothering himself about giving the dosage here? Well, this presentation could be listened to by a doctor in a rural area, in any parts of the world, and they'll just get the picture of what to do at the right time. So 600 milligram IV or per oral twice daily, for 10 to 14 days. That is the typical use. But in severe cases like vancomycin resistance enterococci, you can use as high as 600 milligrams intravenously every 12 hours for 14 to 28 days. But for mild cases, you just use 400 to 600 milligrams per hour twice daily for 10 to 14 days. Side effects. This medication is pretty safe if you have taken into account all the medications that must not be used concomitantly. There's possibility of diarrhea, nausea and vomiting, headache, Stevens-Johnson syndrome or toxic epidermal necrolysis, hypoglycemia, neuropathy. High serotonin when it's used with all those medications that could shoot serotonin to the circulatory system, hence serotonin syndrome. Also, we could be faced with thrombocytopenia, that is low platelets, of course bleeding. And this medication has a strong effect on bone marrow, suppressing it. So bone marrow suppression is a possible side effect here. Also, there's possibility of high fungal infection, particularly when we have low white blood cell count. The individual could also be dealing with visual impairment. And of course, I've mentioned low glucose the other time. And of course, high lactic acidosis. High blood pressure is possible if tyramine containing food is taken at the same time while on this medication. Clostridioides difficile, formerly known as Clostridium difficile, that is associated with pseudomembranian colitis is a possibility here. Optic neuropathy, eosinophilia, or abdominal pain. So, in summary, Linezolid is a good medication, but you have to choose wisely, please. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Kindly subscribe so that you can get my presentations immediately they are published. Thank you. I appreciate that.